right, okay, let's get started. Hello and welcome to the 50th episode of Offset. I'm your host, Ryan Selvy. Very excited to be at 50 episodes. This is a show where we bring on artists of different skill sets, different mediums, and we talk all about their process, their inspiration, what makes them tick, their sketches, you name it. And we are very honored to be able to have Dontae Carter on today. He is a video editor and a motion designer, and he is immensely talented at being able to not only create great works, but also showcase his work on Instagram and TikTok and teach other people how to do very cool things. We are broadcasting to both YouTube and Behance right now. So thank you if you're tuning in live, as this says, but also this is available as a replay on YouTube. So if you're watching as a replay, thanks for watching. We're going to make it worth your time. And hello to a bunch of people in the chat, from Rick and Oliver, Umacorn, Clever, Reverb Mike, Bruce. It's really good to have you guys here. And I'm excited to introduce you to Dontae. So without further ado, please welcome Dontae to the show. Hey, Dontae, how's it going?
Hello. Hey, yeah. Hi.
Here's your Adobe Live reveal.
Yay, I'm here. 50
tuning in from the West Coast, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm in Vegas. I'm a Vegas-based videographer, and I do a lot of motion design. I have a background in illustration and art, and I like to focus on color, practical effects, animation, and I've never lost a game of rock, paper, scissors. So let's do it.
Oh, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Never lost.
Wow, that's good to have up your sleeve. Well, you already did a little tiny one, but let's see if we can get you into a full one of elevator pitch. So I have this little Pomodoro timer, which we can set to 60 seconds. It would maybe be a pretty tall building. But for that, I'm going to give you 1 minute, and we're going to see if you can just give your little elevator pitch in that time. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right. Ready, set, go.
Hi, I'm Dontae Carter. I'm a videographer based in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been doing video since 2008 in high school. And ever since then, I've been making commercials, music videos, animations. I've been trying to get my hands dirty with anything creative. And I'm moving more into the physical media space. I'm a collector of art, and I just love creating. And I also like Muppets a lot. So
sick. All right. You did that within 30 seconds. So you would have plenty more time to answer questions. Love that you love Muppets. I mean, I guess I could have put that together, but I didn't realize that, which is sick.
Yeah.
Also, since you're in Vegas, I am jealous that you're able to see the Sphere, and I'm so interested at what the Sphere's video files look like. I want to know.
I've never been to the Sphere.
No, you haven't seen it yet?
The Strip, I just see like an emoji through buildings, and I've never been there yet. I'm afraid of the gaze of the emoji Sphere.
I feel I'm afraid of the gaze. The gaze is Gaze. But the video files on that thing must be so gigantic. I mean, I don't know if it would be spliced or if it would be just a singular. Would it be rectangle? Like, how do you even wrap it? Does it have
clue.
An underside?
They said that its power right now is at I might be wrong. They said it's at 10%. I think they said if they send it, it'll just take down the grid.
It just take the grid down.
Yeah, someone could just crank it, and then we're all out of power.
That'd be. They'd have to do the lightning bulb emoji or something like that. Just because that only seems appropriate. But before we get hopping in and talking about all your work, let's hop in and just do. Let's look at your work. Let's look at your work. So I actually found your work through Instagram initially, and where you are Tugboat Dontae. Where does
Yeah.
Tugboat come from?
Oh yeah, that's fun. My boy David Solkowski, one of my best friends in college. He wanted to make like a Sesame Street parody, and I was like, I'm on board for it. And he named me Tugboat Dante, and I was like, that's funny. And I just kept it. I
And it
was like,
just stuck.
that's a good name for anything. So
So
that was
clearly you have a history then with kind of these Muppets and these vibes. You're mostly in video, but I also like how you integrate having a puppet. Where did you get this little guy from?
Nowhere in general, but I got it from this guy named Gordon, and it was for my senior thesis in college, called Paul and His Cartoon Pals, and they had just been in a box since like 2017, and I was like, what if I need to do like a naming tutorial, but I like that's so boring. I was like, how can I make that fun? And I was like, what if I just put a puppet in it? And then people liked it, and I was like, I guess he's here. I guess
Does he
he's
have a
here.
name?
No, he doesn't have a name.
Oh.
I'll let you name him. That's your responsibility now.
That's a lot of pressure.
I will keep his name. I need a name by the end of this, and I will that'll be his name.
We can also throw that to the audience as well to see if they also have a name, so that it's not entirely on me. But all good points. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can pull up your TikTok because Instagram's giving me a hard time. But how long have you been regularly uploading onto Reels and TikToks?
I wasn't like I didn't really take social media seriously for a while until I was at an advertisement agency. And like when Instagram first came out, I was like, who wants to see photos?
Right.
And then I just started just posting stuff. It was like I wasn't posting stuff because I wanted to. I was just posting stuff because I was like, well, I think I have to in order for like people to know that I'm still around. And then I was like, well, if I start posting stuff that I like, maybe I'll start doing it more and more. And then I just started posting reels and just like making videos in my off time from like client work. And I was like, this is just fun. And nobody was watching them, which was fine with me. I was just making stuff just to put out. And then people started watching them. And I was like, well, let me just keep making tutorials, but I'm just mostly making them because they're fun.
Yeah, and you have so much fun with them. Let's actually take a look at this first one that you have up here that has 300,000 plays, which is really cool to see. And it might actually be one of the first ones that I actually saw of yours. So let's check it out. Oh, it's not showing. It's not showing it. Give it a second. Sorry about that. Here we go. We'll do this. I just want to make sure we get the audio because I feel like the audio is so important. So here we go. We had Instagram up. Also, look at that. Look at that thumbnail.
Look at it.
Want to end your music like that? Well, pop open Adobe Premiere and I'll show you how. Find the part of your music you want to end on and cut it. I'm going to go with this. Delete the rest, move on. Move about a second back and cut your audio. Don't delete this. Hold on to it. Caress it. Kiss it. Hold the Alt button and drag your audio to duplicate it. We're going to end it now and come back to it later. Next, add an adjustment layer to your timeline and extend it. Select your adjustment layer and your cut music and nest them. Look up Studio Reverb in your effects panel and drag it onto your nested sound. This effect is going to add in that dramatic echo once our sound cuts off, using all the extra space we placed by nesting your adjustment layer. Click on Edit in your preset dropdown and select Great Hall. I like Great Hall because it has the most reverb, but you can experiment with the others. Remember that audio we disabled? Go back and enable it. Then keyframe the volume to fade out. You could finish there, but I'm going to add in 2 sound effects. I call these my seasoners, a riser and an impact. These are going to help boost the flavor of the effect. Once you play it back, it should sound something like this. Oh, this is my jam.
Oh, that's great. It's fantastic. And like, so I learned a lot through it, but it also has all of your personality. It has concise information, and it also just like keeps you wanting to watch it, even if I necessarily wasn't even Premiere. One question I have for you is what kind of prompted you to learn that technique? Were you working on something else and you wanted to do it, or is it kind of you fell into figuring it out?
The technique of the sound.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I was realizing that the biggest thing that was separating a lot of people's work was sound design. And I was like, oh, if you have like really good sound design, your work is like 100% better. So I was doing a lot of these edits that had to like, crescendo into a title card. And anytime I watched like a trailer, I was like, how do they do these sounds? And then after a while, I figured out that it's just like a riser, a crash, and then there's an echo at the end. And then I was like, if I can just figure out how to do this small little echo, then everything is going to be like, it's a huge game changer for sound. And now I do it with everything I do. It's always crescendo, hit, reverb, and it just makes anything more impactful. You can put that on the what's it, cha-cha slide, and it'll make it so
it's
dramatic.
Different now.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
To the left. Take it back now, y'all.
It is crazy. Like especially if I look back at old work and I see my audio, or not say I hear my audio, and just the small changes that make such a monumental change. It's what divides professional work and amateur work, and figuring out something like that is something that like I have now added it to my tool belt. So then now going forward, that like, yeah, to your point, you can add it to like everything. You can have that feeling, and it is so adaptable. So it's always really cool to find stuff like that. And I learned it without even searching it out. I just ran into your video, and that's how we got there. I also wanted to watch one other one, which I thought was also great, which is the naming one, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
For handing over footage or just need to organize it, you can also use this method for batch renaming. Grab all your footage and drop it into Renamer. Then add in your info. Click Rename to finalize it. Now, if you look in your folder, all your footage should have shiny new titles. All right, let's check in one last. Now you know how to name. If I catch you naming your files, final again, I'm gonna show up to your house. I'm gonna find that Paddington 2 Blu-ray you got. Yeah, I know where you hide that shit. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna scratch it. I'm gonna scratch the shit out of it. I'm gonna scratch the shit out of it. I'm gonna scratch the shit out of it, bitch. And if you don't want that to happen, then all you gotta do is stop naming your files like this. Ew! I'm gonna show you how to do it like a pro.
I'm glad that's when I decided to get the audio back. My bad.
Oh, you're good. Fun fact, I hide a fart in every video I do.
No way, really?
Always, there's a hidden fart everywhere.
Well, now it's like a Where's Waldo? Like you have to go find the fart for every single reel.
Where's the fart?
But once again, like learning something big, but then having the humor and the personality for all of it is what keeps it entertaining for it. Yeah, no, I love it. Sorry that I robbed you of your audio for it, but everyone make sure you go check it out. There's so many funny things to watch, and I love how you're incorporating the puppet, and you're incorporating really cool captions and closed captions for it. It's very helpful to see the highlighted word as it's going along, even, and it's different from what's standard, you know.
Yeah, that tutorial's coming out next. Everybody's asking about captions, and I was like, okay, maybe this is the one thing I should take and run with, since everybody wants to know how to do it. It's actually super easy, but that'll be the next one.
We'll have to look forward to it. All right, I do want to hop into our next segment, since we have so much ahead of us, and that is quick 20 questions. 20 quick questions. So I came up with just kind of 20 rapid fire questions that we can do. They are pertaining to video editing and to After Effects. And I figured that you would probably want to do a little bit of video editing too, because I also know that's part of your bread and butter. So first and foremost, shoot in vertical or crop later?
Crop later. Never trust your client that they will keep something vertically. You will always have to do 16:9 later. Always crop.
How many monitors do you use?
I got 2 monitors, one for editing, one for Netflix.
What's the most productive hour of the day?
The last 2 hours of the day before you have to export. You will come up with every single creative thing in order to make a process go faster. I guarantee you everybody's like, yep, that's right.
Fueled by coffee or tea?
I'm a Arnold Palmer type of dude.
Arnold Palmer, really?
Yeah.
I can't get into
That's a
it.
tea, right?
Yeah, it's a tea.
I got Southern roots, but I mostly make my tea into lemonade. So,
so I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
Which do you like more, linear or non-linear edits?
Definitely linear. I feel like there's more planning when it comes to linear. Non-linear, I feel like there's not enough planning, and it's like jazz. You're just putting things together. Hopefully it works.
Right. What's your most overused effect?
The glow. I put glow on almost everything. That's it just really enhances stuff. It makes it feel like it's in the environment more.
What effect do you actively avoid using?
Film burns. I see people use film burn transitions a lot. It's gross. They're boring. Also, a cross dissolve. Yuck. If I see you in these streets in 2024 using cross dissolve, I'm giving you a swirly.
Oh man, you might give me a swirly at some point. I have to like go back now and check out to see if it cross dissolves. Star Wars aesthetic. Green screen or rotoscope?
Green screen, especially if you can do it right. It'll save you way more time than rotoscope.
So much more time and sanity. What's a piece of client feedback you hear too much?
Make it more dynamic.
Yeah, that was funny. Funny in that last video.
I've heard the word dynamic used. Most of the time, people don't know what that word means, and most of the time, when I get that feedback, it's make it faster. I just make it faster, and I put more things on the screen. That's usually what dynamic means, but that's the big one.
Short form or long form?
Short form.
Saturated or muted color grading?
Saturated. I feel like muted color grading is super edgelord, and we got to stop doing that.
Super edgelord. How many unread emails do you have in your inbox?
525,600 emails.
What's the best background noise for work?
I like 1,000-Pound Sisters. I watched that.
What's on Netflix? Is that what's on the other monitor?
Yeah, it's on something. Yeah. That's just watching trash TV. Something that you don't have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Great.
Do you use removable storage, cloud storage, or a hard drive?
I use hard drive.
Edit alone or edit with a team?
I've never really edited with a team before, but so primarily edit alone.
One long project or a bunch of tiny projects?
Ooh, I like tiny projects. I feel like you can get a lot more ideas out in tiny projects.
Favorite art class you ever took?
I took this Project City art class. That was really fun. We went over just like stuff about the industry and everything. That was dope. Learned a lot.
Keyboard shortcuts or menu navigation?
Keyboard shortcuts.
Voice over narration or text overlays?
Voiceover for sure. I get a lot of my comedy out with voiceovers. A lot of my stuff. Right. So.
And then the very last one: edit chronologically first or key scenes first?
Key scenes.
Key scenes, and then you kind of break it back down.
Yeah, because then you can just fill in the stuff in between.
Yeah, no, it's I sometimes get too caught up on key scenes though, and then I put all my time into the key scene, and then I realize that like I haven't dedicated enough time to like the boring intro, or I'll work too much on the intro, and then I won't have the endurance for the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that happens too many times. But yeah, you breezed through those. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Next up, we also have a segment that I really like because we get to kind of look behind the curtain and see kind of how your brain works. And so we have what's in your sketchbook.
Ooh, what's in your sketchbook?
So you're kind enough to send over a good handful of different sketchbooks, things that you have. Do you keep just a physical sketchbook, or are these all kind of from scraps of paper that you have?
I used to just write in my like notebooks when I was taking notes, and then I realized that the lines don't really look that pleasant. So I now have a sketchbook that I keep with me. I have about like 2 or 3.
All right. Well, let me grab it real quick so we can pull it up and we can take a look. Let's see here.
What are you watching on Netflix?
You know what I just started watching last night was Pokemon Concierge.
Ooh,
and it's cute.
That looks awesome.
It's very cool. It's stop motion. Interesting approach. We watched it in the background, so I didn't watch it Japanese. I watched it with the English dub, but even the English dub was pretty good. But because it's like Pokemon, I grew up with an English dub. So let's do here, share screen, and I'm gonna go and pull up. This one's like so hard to find for me for whatever it is. Here we are. Got it.
There we go.
Come on, dude. There we go.
There we
All
go.
right. Here we go. So here we have a bunch of little drawings on the side. Then you also kind of have this kind of breakdown of an animation. Is this kind of like a thing that later turned into a full animation, or do you mostly have it as like kind of animatic?
So that was just I decided to just do an animatic. I'm not too good at animation yet, but I'm trying. And
I mean, these look great.
Thank you. I realized I'm really good at just drawing myself. So like it kind of just started with just some like sketches. I was like, all right, big glasses, messed up hair, mustache, eyebrows. And then I was like, oh, I have like a story that I can probably tell with this. And I just started sketching on my Post-it notes and kind of just put them on a board. And I was like, oh, cool. I got a storyboard basically done. And then I just drew everything out in Photoshop and then, just did my voiceover through Premiere. And I just put it all together, just animated just small little things with, I love that shot. I animated some small little things with After Effects and then just sent it out. True story.
But I also really love that you decided to keep the change of color between Post-it notes. So we switched from yellow and pink and blue, which isn't something that would necessarily be my natural approach, but I think that it makes it have so much more personality and feel so much more connected to this idea of something that's living on a Post-it note. And I'm so glad that you did, because I think it turned really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's check out another one. Let's have this one, Mojo Jojo, right?
Yeah, so that one was a fun one. So Roger, oh man, what's his last name? Dang it. Roger Jackson. He's the guy who voices Mojo Jojo. He was coming to town for a signing, and I was like, I gotta get me something signed.
No way. No way.
Yeah, I was just finishing reading. I just finished reading Invincible, and Ryan Otley. I love his work, and I was like, what if Mojo Jojo just got knocked? And that was like my initial sketch of him, and I've learned now, like I always like my initial sketches always had like a lot of detail. It doesn't have super a lot of detail in this one, but like I put too much detail into it sometimes.
Yep.
But that's kind of what it looked like. It's pretty rough, but then like usually all the time actually the fine tuning kind of comes out in the final product. But yeah, I got that. Let's see if I can pull it out.
Also over in the chat, Wade is saying Mojo Ono. Oh wait, let me pull out.
Yeah, I got this. I got it signed by him.
Nice.
That's super fun.
What did he say? Did he have a reaction to it?
This is to Dontae, signed with a pin by me, Mojo Jojo, aka Roger Jackson. That dude's a character. He was fun.
Also, $7 burrito is saying Dontae.
Hello, I know who that is.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see the process between the two, between such a sketch piece and a final piece. Who are these guys?
Oh, so those are so basically those are the guys. Those two, actually three, are the reasons why I got into animation a little bit more with the.
Oh, no way. Okay, how so?
I had came up with an idea called Scavenger Squad. And I was like, oh man, like it's just been in my head for like years. And I was like, this is going to be the thing that I want to animate this. And I had no skills with animating. I had a lot of skills just drawing. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to animate this, I have to learn how to do it. So that the one that you just seen with the bird, that when this Post-it notes, those were a practice attempt at trying to learn how to get into the animation process. And kind of just like these initial sketches. But this sketch is me kind of coming up with a design. Like there's these three characters, a seagull, a fly, and then a raccoon. And I was like trying to figure out, like an art style for it. And I kind of wanted to be like black and white, but you can see that the seagull is basically like I only did it like one sketch of him, but the fly I had a really hard time with, just trying to figure out what I wanted her head to look like.
Yeah.
And the raccoon, I was still having a hard time because I was like, well, I don't want to do three animals with ski masks. What if one had just a bag because they couldn't afford a ski mask? So that one's still in the process. But yeah, that one, I'm super proud of these, and I can't wait to eventually like make this a thing. So yeah.
I like the halftone. The dirty texture of it is great. Because I like how there's like smudges. It feels like there's fingerprints on it. And then I also really like how with the unfinished bag one, you have the cutouts of the sides because they still can't fit the whole head in, which is great.
Yeah.
And then also for the fly, that nose is so nasty and so great. By the way, over in YouTube, you got lots of shout outs from Hawaiian Freak and Marquis M. Says, I'll snap really out here on Adobe Live right now.
Hey, my boy Miguel, my boy Nayeli. Wait, that's a girl. Sorry. My boy Marquise, my boy Joffrey.
So lots of people saying hello. And it's a pleasure to have you on here, by the way. We're just right now looking through your sketchbook and looking through kind of some process from beginning to end. Here's another upload. We've got a beautiful plankton here. Now, is this done when you're kind of out and about, or is these kind of when you're at home?
This was on I took a trip to Alaska last year, and I just love drawing a handsome plankton. just a ripped. I love drawing ripped, handsome dudes, and and I also really like drawing pompadours. But over on the left corner, that I passed by a bunch of totem poles, and I was like, what if there was like a totem pole for a movie? And I just started drawing like Nacho Libre, and if it's like him at the top,
throwback.
all the new characters, and that was kind of a project that I wanted to get into. It's just like totem pole movies. So
yeah. No, it's fun. And I like the variety that you have, all not only like in the totem pole itself, but all across the page. The different levels of characters you have, like this guy with his big feet and his little smile. Yeah. We also have this page too, with some guys. This guy looks a little sleepy, but I feel like our sketchbooks look very similar in the way that it's like kind of very stream of consciousness. You kind of work on something for a little bit and you move on to something else. Did any of these end up turning into anything more, or is this more kind of just like a journal of kind of what your brain was thinking?
I don't know. I love drawing like depressed men. And it usually starts off with like a weird nose, and I can remember the snake. There's like, it looks like scribbles, but it's a rat riding a snake, and I just was like, oh, what if, I think there was a documentary I was watching about like rats that fight like these like horned snakes, and I was like, what if they like teamed up and they were bounty hunters and like he rode the snake or something? But I'm not sure if you have the other sketch, but there was these like cactus men that I drew. I was like, what if their world was cactus men? And then it turned into like these things called succulent bros, just like almost like a Calvin and Hobbes situation. And it's like, oh, what if this guy had boots? And what if this guy was like pudgy? And like, I don't know, there's the succulent bros.
And what about this guy with his tall bucket hat?
Yeah, he's got a tall, I was like, what if the entire world is just cactus people? And I thought that was like super fun. And I was like, and I kind of pushed, they were like background characters. And then I kind of just pushed like the main characters aside. And I was like, these are guys are more fun to draw. And so I just made like a little thing. I might turn that into some stuff next year.
No, they're cute. Now, can they touch each other, or do they get like prickled if they touch another cactus?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Right? Like, do they have the same species of cactus, or is it just like everyone's just used to it because everybody's cactus?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, that's a good. I'm gonna write that down.
Just flipped up the entire world. I really like this one too because I love Sorry I'm Ugly. It's just hilarious. But I also really like seeing how much you fine-tuned this between the two. You want to talk a little bit about this guy?
Yeah. So as you can see in my initial sketch with the Mojo Jojo, there's a lot of detail. And one thing I noticed is that anytime I take something and move it over to Photoshop, I will just kind of enhance the details. And then I was kind of realizing, I was like, for my sketches, I don't really need to go all out. Nobody else is going to look at these. It's just for me. I know what I have the vision of what I want it to look like. So I will do, instead of spending all my time doing a rough sketch, I will just, 30 seconds, just drawing out little scribbles of what I want it to look like. And then I'll bring it in. And the hardest part with this is just like the angle that he was at when I was trying to match it. If you like, the leg is obviously, he's contoured in a different way from his original sketch. And I had to figure out how the shoes and like his placement, but I knew all that was going to come out in the drawing. I just needed in the digital drawing, I just needed something to work off of first.
Right. No, but I think that the shoes came out really nicely. It feels very like my brain doesn't do anything to argue it. Like it can feel different from the sketch, but I think that actually the direction that you end up taking it is the right approach. Also, is this kind of like a little signia that you have for yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of my stuff is like super inspired by SpongeBob. And like the Sorry I'm Ugly, I was like, that is such just a funny episode. And I was like, what if just something was just called Sorry I'm Ugly? And I just went with that. And someone said that that insignia was the dirty bubble, and I was like, I guess it is.
Oh yeah, the dirty bubble. Yeah, no, I can see that.
And then the shoes, I think I was watching like the SpongeBob movie at the time with like when he puts down those boots and they're like super spiky.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved it. I love it.
By the way, Bruce is saying this one is great. Bring this to New York, that taxi pattern. He says, is this a sticker?
It will be a sticker. It will be a sticker soon, actually. It'll be a sticker, and
the sticker onto what?
it'll be a sticker, and I'm hoping to make it into a shirt soon.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. Sorry, I'm ugly merch.
Yeah.
No, it's is that something that you've kind of messed with in the past? Is like kind of a sticker vibe?
Yeah. I never really was like super into stickers. I was more into shirts.
Mhm.
And I realized that shirts are like this one actually was my first attempt at making a shirt. And
Okay.
I screen printed it and everything.
Wow,
And,
really?
Yeah, learning the process of this one was specifically made to go on a t-shirt, and
Right.
learning the process of screen printing was like a whole new avenue, and that was really fun. But I think everything I kind of have in mind is like either go on a shirt or go on a sticker or like a poster or something. I think that I want my art to like live somewhere instead of on the computer, you know?
Yeah. No, I get that. Now, is that something that you feel like you will continue to explore? Like, is screen printing something that's in your future, or was it kind of like maybe a different avenue?
I think that's for sure in my future for this year. I mean, we'll probably get that to that later, but for like 2024, I really want to get into making physical, like handcrafted media and like put out stickers, put out a storefront, and just get my stuff out there.
Yeah, no, actually, let's talk about that. What do you want to leave in 2023?
Oh, what I want to leave in 2023. That is dude, self-doubt. That's a big one that I want to leave in 2023. That's so 2018. Get that out of here. I think self-doubt is like for sure I want to leave in 2023. I want to be more proud of my work and proud to put it out and like just know that I'm getting it out there and like happy to advertise it. And I think that's always hard for people to advertise their own work. Another thing I want to leave in 2023 is perfectionism. And I think perfectionism really stops you from putting stuff out. There'll be times where I'll like make a quick sketch that I'm like, oh, this will be funny. And the next thing I know, I'm like 3 weeks deep into it. And it's just like, oh, it's because I'm just working way too hard for something that doesn't need to be worked that hard on.
Right. No, I mean, what do they say? Done is better than perfect.
Yes.
Or finished is better than perfect. Also, I want to be the person to tell you that you are great and that you make fantastic work. And I'm a big fan of your work. And get rid of that self-doubt because you're doing the right thing. You're making really cool stuff. I've never seen any of your stuff and been like, cringe. Like it's all been perfectly authentic and feels like you. And it has something that I don't see in a lot of other tutorials and video content online. So keep doing that. And also keep doing these cute old cartoon guys because I like the cartoon guys. And then what is an aspiration for 2024 that you want to do? I mean, I guess you kind of said screen printing, right?
Yeah. So 2024, I'm going to jump in hard. And I really want to make more handcrafted designs. I want to make more animations. I want to just take the fun back of like when I initially got into filmmaking and doing creative stuff. I want to just like take that back and have more fun, put more things out, and just like kind of refine my work. And I also really want to learn some like 3D designs, maybe like Blender or something. I want to have some
both. I've been saying I want to learn 3D for forever, and I always get out of it. But that leads me to also believe a very important question that we have, which is a segment that we call Next Question.
Next question.
So this is a new segment that we have that is a question that you ask for the next guest, and you also answer the question from the previous guest. And the previous guest wants to know, what's the weirdest thing you've ever had in your refrigerator or freezer?
Oh yeah, I think I had like root beer Pop-Tarts.
Root beer Pop-Tarts? Why?
See, someone got me root beer Pop-Tarts as a present, and I was like, I'll try these. Ugh, gross.
As a present or as a curse? Like, were they mad at you?
No. You know what he'll like? Root beer Pop-Tarts. That's a flavor everybody wanted.
That's also at a board meeting. Someone was like, all right, we need to come up with a jazzy new flavor. Like, we need to get something that the people will be talking about. And it's like, okay, sure. Root beer in your Pop-Tarts. And then do you have a question for the next guest?
I think the next guest is Kelsey, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. It can be whatever.
Well, in case it is, describe the moment you felt confidence in selling your own work.
Ooh.
And if it's not her, second question, what are you watching on Netflix while you work?
No, I think both are great. Perfect. I mean, I'll ask both just to let you know I can touch back on it. But yeah, thank you for doing our next question. Then I do want to talk a little bit about getting in your head and talk a little bit about burnout. So obviously you're talking about kind of the idea of hitting a wall with working on a sketch and kind of beating it to death. What do you do when you are in that situation and you need to get out of it because of a deadline or just because it's lasting too long?
A lot of times, the best thing to do is just step away from your computer, go anywhere that is like, go watch a movie that you wouldn't normally watch, go to a museum, go to an art show or something, go to somewhere that will like make your brain start working a little better. Because if you sit down and you're just working on the same thing day after day after day, then you're only thinking about that thing. And if you go anywhere to just like absorb anything or just absorb anything different, it's going to have an impact on your thoughts later when you sit back down.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you kind of lean on directly for a movie that, kind of inspires you?
Oh man, I love a movie. Anything by Jared Hess or Edgar Wright is super fun.
Oh,
watch.
Cool. Well, actually, yeah, that's actually a great segue into our next segment. We'll do some art talk. You were kind enough to actually include both visual artists and directors. I mean, directors are visual artists in their own right. And then, artists also great source of inspiration. You mentioned Andrew Maclean, John Romita Jr., Edgar Wright, and Jared Hess. Edgar Wright and Jared Hess would be directors, and Andrew and John would be the different visual artists. Is there one in particular you want to talk about? I can pull up some of Andrew's work real quick.
I guess I'll talk about Edgar Wright first while you do that.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I hadn't watched Scott Pilgrim for like years.
Yeah.
And my teacher was like, hey, we're watching Scott Pilgrim and we're going to analyze it today. And I was just like, like just watching the transitions, the use of lighting for effects. And it was kind of just like just taking notes on that film. Like when he punches somebody and there's like actual physical lights in the scene reacting, and watching any other movie now, I was like, oh, like if there's a light, if somebody like throws up a lighted effects orb and it doesn't react to anything else in the scene, like
it's opportunity.
Yeah. And so after watching that film, I was like, there's so many ways you can transition something. There's so many, that's why I hate film burns, film burn transitions, but there's so many ways you can transition something. There's so many things you can do editing wise to make something more fun. I watched a visual analysis on his work too about like things entering the frame or whip panning to something, And like that's like a form of comedy through editing. You don't always have to just tell a joke, but the joke can be the cinematography. The joke can be how you edit something, the sound design. And after watching that, I was like, well, like I had watched Hot Fuzz and I'd watched Shaun of the Dead, and I just had to go back and look at all of his like past work, and I was like, oh, I'm like realizing stuff I hadn't seen before. And like that was super inspiring and really helped me figure out how to craft my own visual language for shooting and editing.
Yeah, there are some crazy transitions. I'm gonna have to kind of skirt through some of these so that we don't get a context strike. But let's see, like even having it pop up and then like having the different roommates, like the roommate and his boyfriend like pop up, is such a funny way of transitioning. Also, I remember specifically this door transition. It was a physical change, I think, right? I think it was even not that one. There's a point where they like actually rotated the scene. Like they did so many things where while they were filming it, they thought of the transitions and they filmed and edited it together, which is so cool. I still need to watch the new cartoon.
Oh, I have to too. I have to as well. It's
really
yeah, this film's a masterpiece. This film people should be taking notes on this film. It's crazy.
I originally watched it when I had a fever back in high school, and I had to stop halfway through because I was like, I can't follow this. I'm having fever dreams. But also, did you see One Night in Soho?
That's the only one I haven't seen yet. I was too busy with work to go to the theater to pick that up. So sorry to watch that. But
it is it's so silly because I didn't watch it in advance, and this is a bad reflection on my intelligence. But I was there and I was like halfway through the movie. I'm like, when are they going to go to New York? Like not realizing we were talking about Soho like across the pond. Also, Marquis is in the chat saying that Wright's smash cuts are next level, plus his sound design. Yes, definitely noted of sound design, which is an invisible art, but is super important. Also, to catch up on some chat, Nayeli is saying, I can see the Sorry I'm Ugly character as a plush toy. And $7 Burrito is saying Dontae would be too powerful if he learned 3D.
He's the one I'm trying to learn 3D from. He won't teach me.
And Edgar Wright, guys, check him out. Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead. And I watched Shaun of the Dead on Airplane a few months ago, actually. It's been a while since I had watched it, and it still holds up.
Baby Driver, crazy.
Love comedy and editing, and that obviously speaks huge to you, and because I feel like you have a lot of comedy and editing, which is super important. And then the other one that you mentioned was Jared Hess, and I'm bad at names. So remind me of who Jared Hess is.
Jared Hess he directed Napoleon Dynamite, and he directed Nacho Libre, my number one on my top 5 film list. And
is it really?
Yes, it is.
I don't. Do you know your top 5?
Oh yeah, I sure do. Nacho. Oh no, now I forgot it. Oh yes, I know. Nacho Libre, Mystery Team, Men Who Stare at Goats. Pick any Power Ranger movie. All of them are dope. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 1. That is, even though it's a Marvel film, it's still great.
Yeah, I mean, it was also before Marvel movies started being bad.
You know what? I'm gonna take that Power Ranger film out. I'm gonna put Pig. Nicolas Cage, Pig. Oof.
Oh, I don't even know Nicolas Cage Pig.
It's great. It is a great film.
Clever's very excited, saying Nacho in the chat. Which, once again, it's like one of those things. Like once you say it, I can totally see the inspiration in your work, but it's also feels unique enough that it feels removed from it. That it feels like you're taking inspiration from these things and you are creating your own pieces of work. We only have a few minutes left, so I do want to go ahead and bring up Andrew Maclean's work, just because it's some really beautiful stuff. And this is once again comic-based work that feels reflective of your own, but also not like a one-to-one. It's like you can see the inspiration, but it still is beautiful work.
It's just like really simple lines that still like simple yet detailed lines.
Mhm.
I picked up Headlopper when I was in I think San Francisco, and I
Yeah.
was just reading this like most of my trip, and I just thought it was so amazing. But yeah, it was really fun.
Remarkable. And then the very last one that you had mentioned was John Romita Jr. And why did you mention John?
I have so many. I'm a huge comic book fan, and I have so many John Romita Jr. Books. But I had seen this interview that when he was drawing, and he was like, sometimes you just have to put a line down and just keep going, even if you don't like the line. And I was like, that is so true for like just trying to make artwork faster.
Right.
Because he's got to make so many pages for a comic book, and you can't really sit on one drawing for too long. And I just think the idea of just like put that line down and just keep going is really important for like work creatively and just to like keep going.
Well said. I have to do that sometimes with editing too, where it's like the pacing isn't right, but I'm too caught up on other stuff that I'm like, I just have to make an ugly edit and then I can refine the ugly edit,
Yeah, no, 100%. Make it ugly and then just come back, because if you spend too much time, like we said, if you spend too much time on your like intro, then you're not going to have any more time to do anything else. So just just put some stuff down and just keep moving.
No, that's really great advice. And it's also just cool to put a name to it, because obviously Spider-Man has a lot of influence, and there's different artists that give different meaning to it, and it's cool to see kind of his stuff really proliferate. But yeah, all right. Well, unfortunately, we're at about time. I do want to ask you what's next for you. What's coming up? Where can we find you? What are you excited about?
You can find me on Instagram at Tugboat Dontae. You can find me on TikTok at Saving Worlds and stuff. That's kind of it. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it. And what's coming up for me, I'm going to be making a lot more tutorials, a lot more just animations, and I'm hoping to have a storefront come up soon as well. Digital storefront, and hopefully to sell some stickers and to sell some merch. And I think that'll be fun.
And when can we expect to see your work on the Sphere?
Oh yeah. If I can figure out how to get it on there,
you're gonna bring the grid down.
Hack the grid.
Well, thank you so much, Dontae. It was such a pleasure talking to you. I had a great time.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to learning more and buying your screen prints in the future.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, of course. Take care. All right, guys, that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow as far as offset goes. We do have some more Adobe Live coming up, so make sure you stick around on this channel and you'll get redirected into it. But thank you so much to all of our guests today. Thank you to Dontae specifically for the last hour. It's been a lot of fun. We went over a lot of great inspiration and his sketchbooks and his work. Make sure you check out his reels. I wasn't able to pull up all of them on stream because I want to make sure we have audio and everything working. But they are such a great use of your time, because they'll make you laugh and want to share with people. But then you're also realizing that like you're sending a Premiere tutorial to your friend from college that works in nursing. So it's really, really great. You're gonna love them. And I would love to hear what you guys think. Thank you to everyone in the chat that said hello and asked great questions while we were live, both on YouTube and on Behance. And I hope to see you guys all back here tomorrow for some great more interviews. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your, what is today? Thursday? Today's Wednesday. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for watching.